Hello, friends. Okay, I want to talk to you today about overcoming objections. This is something that is a huge part of our business, and it's kind of an icky part. I wish it didn't exist, but it does, and so we want to equip you. We want to teach you how to overcome those. First, before we start, I want to let you know that just because you receive an objection from somebody, whether it's it costs too much, or I don't have time, or I don't think I'd be a good coach, or this is just not for me, whatever the objection is, just because you've received one does not mean that you are being rejected as a person. It's not because you're a bad coach, or because you said the wrong thing, or whatever. It is because that when people are offered something new, they have questions about it. And really, objections are just questions in disguise, and that's how I want you to look at them. So we're going to equip you with how to overcome them. My first tip for you is kind of happening on the front end of things before you actually even get an objection. We want you to be building and adding and sharing so much value with your social media audience and with the people that you are interacting with that objections aren't likely to happen. They will still happen, but this will minimize it. So when you are sharing on social media about your journey, about Beachbody products, about the programs, about Shakeology, whatever it is, you need to be sharing so much value. If you are not crafting posts that add value to people's lives, you are just white noise. And you are wasting your time, okay? What I want you to do, if you are a baby coach, I want you to just think about this before you start posting. But if you've been if you've been coaching for any length of time, I want you to go back through your posts and look at them. Read them as if you are, an objective third party and see, does this add value to my life? Am I inspired by this? Am I encouraged by this? Am I convicted by this? Does it move me emotionally? Does it make me want to be better? Any of those things. If it doesn't do those things, then you need to think a little bit about how you're posting. So when you are sharing your lifestyle, your transformation, your current program, whatever it is, if it's a sweaty selfie or if it's a coaching business opportunity post, whatever it is, you need to be so passionate and confident in what you're sharing that people can't help but be inspired by you. If you are not confident in what you're doing and what you're posting, people are going to pick up on that and they're going to really question whether or not they want to go with you. And it doesn't matter if you're new, you can still be confident. So one tip I have for you when it comes to being confident in what we're doing is learn. All right. So we did not come into this business knowing everything there is to know about the products or the programs that we offer. We know about them because we've used them, and we can tell from personal experience, we can tell people what they're like. So if you haven't done that, you have some homework. First up, programs. You cannot connect people with the right program for them if you don't know what the programs are like. Now, believe me, I realize there are lots of programs that Beachbody On Demand offers, and that's an amazing thing. And so I don't expect you to have done every single one. I'm not over here doing, Slim and Six or Turbo Fire. I have done Turbo Fire because it's fun and I love Shalene, but I get it. You're not going to do all of them, but once you finish whatever program you're doing right now, and for a lot of us, that's 80-day obsession, so it might be later, but once you figure out whatever program, or once you've finished with that program, I want you to take a week, 2 weeks, and do a different program every single day, just so that you're learning about what they're like. You cannot offer or recommend Core de Force to somebody without knowing what it's like, all right? People are going to ask you, okay, kickboxing, but what does that mean? You cannot offer PiYo to somebody. You're going to think that it's just yoga or if it's just Pilates. PiYo is totally different. It's Shalene's own little fusion of things. So you need to know what's going on, what you're offering before you actually share it with people. So go do some homework. Likewise, if you don't know about the performance line, if you can't explain to somebody confidently what Recover does or what Energize does or what Recharge does, you shouldn't be offering it to them, all right? That's integrity, all right? We want to be able to offer things confidently to people because we know that they're amazing from personal experience. So if you haven't, at the very least, I understand if you're not in a place financially where you could buy the whole performance line, but at the very least, you need to go learn about it. Go in your coach office and watch the videos, read the FAQs. There is a ton of information on there for you to learn and feel confident in what you're sharing. So I want you to get comfortable with sharing, with adding value, so that when you start to talk to people, you know how to do it, all right? My second tip, when you do get an objection from somebody, realize that that is a question in disguise, and your response to that should be to ask more questions, all right? If they say to you, it's just so expensive, that's probably the number one objection that we get. It's just so expensive. All right. What is it about the expense that's scary to you? Is it, I can't afford $129 for Shakeology every month? Okay, sure. That seems daunting because you're paying for an entire month's worth up front. But could you afford $4.33 a day? Probably. They could. So it's getting them to shift their mindset by asking questions. Ask them all kinds of questions like, well, what do you think you could, if it's a time objection, what do you think you could commit to doing every day? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? That's amazing. I have something for you that fits in that time. Just because they give you that initial objection doesn't mean that they're ready to say no right away. They just need more information. So by you asking those questions of them, it helps them to understand that, oh, maybe I don't really have an objection to this. Also, you need to ask questions about what their goals are and bring it back to those goals. So if you are talking to somebody, you should never, ever, ever just tell them what you offer immediately. Ask them questions about their goals first. Ask them, what is it that you are wanting out of your life? What is it that if you could change one thing, what would that be? What would it feel like to you to be comfortable in your skin? What would it feel like to you to be strong? Ask them those kinds of questions so that when they start to answer those questions, they start to see the need for what you're offering them. People are only objecting because they don't see the value in what you're offering. Once you ask those questions and get them to really re-examine what's going on inside of them, they will start to see the need for an answer, and then there you are offering up the answer for them on a silver platter. So it's perfect. All right. Also, when you are doing this, go back to your own story. Connect with them. Say, yeah, when I first started, for me, y'all, I actually reached out to Rachel first because I saw her posting. And when I first reached out to her and we started having a conversation, I had the money objection. I was like, yeah, I can't afford that. You're kidding? I'm like in the red in my bank account. I can afford nothing. But what she did is something that I've always carried with me. She said, yeah, when I first started thinking about doing that, that was an issue for me. Ryan and I were living paycheck to paycheck barely and blah, 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 blah. But now that I have invested in my health and wellness, this and this and this and this has happened. So always bring it back to yourself. Connect with them on those pain points that are real. Think about what your objections were. Think about those objections that you had initially and how that felt, and then connect with them. Use that. You want to be empathetic and sympathetic with the people that you're connecting to, because this is not a sale. This is starting a relationship with them. So you need to be able to do that from the beginning when you're trying to get them on board. Make that connection, make that relationship start with, yeah, I get it. I was there, but now this. Okay, and the last thing is don't focus on the objection itself, okay? If you start to think, well, like, oh yeah, it does really cost a lot of money, but you're gonna start to freak out, okay? Be confident in what you're offering to them and bring it back to that why. Bring it back to, I know you want to create healthier habits for your family. I know you want to get your body back after having your baby. I know you want to reduce your inflammation from your autoimmune disease. And I have the answer for you. I know that it might seem like it costs a lot, but here's the value of it. And yeah, it's an investment, but how much is this investment worth to you? So bring it back to their why, and they're going to be much more likely to move forward with you. So I'm looking at the notes. So one more thing, the most important thing, I think, and this is a long video, so I'm going to cut it short, but the most important thing that I want you to take away from this is you need to share your story. You need to be you. Don't be a salesperson. Don't be me. Don't be Rachel. Don't be Jackie. Don't be Shauna. Be you. You have a story. You have a reason. You have a transformation. Share that with people confidently, passionately, and they'll want to join you. It's infectious. They want what you have. And last thing, we are here for you. If you ever have an objection, feel free to post it in this group, and we'll comment below with how we would respond to you if we got that objection from you. So use us. We are here for you. We love you guys. Have a great day.